If you ever wanted to have the ability to use every type of microphone out there with your DSLM type of camera that has just a standard 3.5mm microphone input jack, then you might want to take a look at this review of the audio mixer from Comica, which is the CVM-AX3. So here's the mixer that I have. This is going to be probably a perfect accessory for a type of camera, like for example what I have up here, which is the Sony a6500. Basically most standard DSLM type of cameras these days, or DSLRs, that don't have proper audio connections, but they do have 3.5mm audio input jack. Because this mixer will provide phantom power, and it will allow you to plug in various microphones at the same time, and you can independently adjust the audio levels, and you can provide phantom powers to the microphones that need it. So let me just start kind of showing you guys how this works. First, you probably want to mount it. So there's various ways that you can mount this. You can mount it on the bottom of your camera. So you can have it, for example, here. If I mount it, you just have this wheel here that you rotate, and in the back too you have access to it, and you would just tighten it, and it would, it's going to go into your 1/4-20 attachment here on the bottom of the camera. Or if you wanted to, you can also mount it on top of the camera through the Hachi mount. They give you this sort of a mount adapter. So you just put it here on the bottom. And it is a big mixer, so it might look a little bit funny here on top of the Sony a6500, which is a pretty small camera. So when you have it mounted on top of your camera, this is how it looks. It is pretty sturdy actually, using this little provided adapter that they have. And then they give you this little cable, a 3.5mm cable that you would just plug in here to your out. You have various basically here connections. You have your out, you have auxiliary, you have headphones, and then you have your two knobs for mixing the audio. So you take the out and then you plug it in to the input of your camera here. So there it goes, and then now basically whatever audio comes out of this mixer is going to be going into your camera. So you can do all your audio adjusting, and also you can use this to monitor your audio, because like I showed you, it has the headphone jack. And this will work with pretty much every type of microphone out there. So first microphone I'm going to use is this one from Azden. It's the SMX30. I did a review of this excellent microphone. It's kind of like your VideoMicro Pro from Rode, except this one also has the stereo and mono option. So it actually has a capsule that will monitor the audio in stereo. And then, it has the auto on function, so it will detect when your camera's on and things like that. So you can use this. So for example, the mixer itself actually comes with, two cold shoe mounts here on the sides. So you can actually basically attach the microphone this way, or let's say if you had two wireless lavs receivers, then you could plug those in here, and then you can feed two of those into your camera. In this case, I'm just going to use this. So let's say I'll mount the microphone up here. And actually, you know what? Maybe I'll just mount this microphone up in this case, just because I'm going to be the one talking, so I want it to be kind of more pointed towards me. So as you can see, I have the microphone pointed there. I do have another microphone. This one's from Rode, and this is the VideoMicro. This is their tiny little microphone, and this one requires power input, 3 volts input, because it is not a powered microphone. This one comes with a battery, this one doesn't. And again, this mixer will work with that. So again, I'm going to mount it here on this side. And there I have it. And then I also have this other great microphone from Azden. This is sort of more like your professional XLR microphone that's still mountable on top of your camera. It's a shotgun directional microphone. It's the SGM-250CX. And this, basically, I'm just going to mount it here on top of the capsule here. So now that I have my crazy array of microphones mounted, I can start using this just for this test. I don't think you would want to normally be walking around with the camera and so many microphones mounted, unless you're like really anal about getting extra backup audio and getting different microphones. But anyways, let's start testing it. So first one, probably most people will be using this with this, like I said, kind of like this kind of a directional microphone that it already has battery in it, and straightforward. You could plug it in directly, obviously, into the camera. But the advantage still of using this mixer, and by the way, here I'm plugging it here on the front, you have different inputs here for 3.5 millimeter input jacks and input 2. So you have the right, the left, and then the S it just stands for stereo. So I'm going to plug it into the stereo jack here. And now, like I said, I could have just mounted this microphone straight into the camera, but then I would not be able to in real time adjust the audio levels. But now, because I have this mixer, I can basically just go here, and on the back here I can just rotate these knobs and I can adjust the audio levels that way. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing. Now, to be able to actually monitor and see kind of how the audio sounds, I'll plug in my headphones. And that's one of the great things about this mixer, is that you're able to monitor the audio because not all cameras, like for example the Sony a6500, doesn't have a headphone jack. So everything's plugged in. I'm going to turn on the mixer now, the switch here in the back, and yep, I can hear this mic. Definitely can hear it. So I'm going to turn it on now, the camera. Just kind of make sure that my audio levels in the camera itself are good. So the input level on the camera itself is set to 5. Obviously the audio might differ from camera to camera depending on what kind of preamps you have in the camera. But the microphone itself is set to 0 dB. So now I'm just going to record a little clip here. Here the camera is rolling, and this is how it sounds, basically recording on the Azden SGM-AX3 microphone. This is the audio coming in through the mixer. Now, like I said, I can go up here and I can adjust the levels here, so I can actually, you know, bring down the volume level, and I can, right now I'm adjusting it just in my basically left headphone, so my left channel. So right now the left channel went down, and now I can adjust the right channel. Now if you wanted to, I'm going to put up the audio here so you guys can will be able to hear. And by the way, if you want to know which microphone you're using, whether I'm using my studio microphone or I'm using one of these mics, just look in the corner. I'm going to display which microphone audio is being used right now. I could actually switch in here in the back. There's a little switch for between mono and stereo. So if I switch it to mono, basically this is how it sounds, because this microphone is actually a mono microphone, meaning both of the channels are the same. So in this case, I can just use one knob to adjust the audio. So right now I'm putting it down, and then if I put it all the way up, this is how it sounds. This is the audio again from the SGM-AX3 Azden microphone going in through the Comica CVM-AX3 audio mixer. Anyways, I'm going to stop recording now and switch to one of the other microphones. Next microphone I'm going to use is this little Rode VideoMicro microphone. So I'll unplug the Comica one. And again, straightforward, I plug it into the stereo here. And even though it's a mono microphone, like I said, I can just have it going into both of the channels. Now, one thing is that you will not be able, like right now, I can't hear what this microphone is doing because this microphone needs power supplied to it. And that's the great thing about this mixer, is that it allows you to provide 3 volts here. So I just turn this little switch here for 3 volts. And then, you know, here you can also adjust, like you have for each left and the right channel, you have line, you know, or microphone or 3 volt thing settings. So right now here I'm going to hit record on my camera. And again, this is the audio coming in from the VideoMicro Rode microphone. This is the audio. This is how it sounds. Didn't really need to change the levels here. This is right now actually set to maximum on the mixer, so I can put it down. This is how it sounds halfway, and again I'm going to increase the volume. So anyways, this is the audio coming off of the the Rode VideoMicro microphone, and by providing the 3 volts phantom power to the microphone itself. So as you can see, that's a cool thing that you can do that. Now I'm gonna unplug this guy here, or I'm gonna maybe turn off basically the power. So now this microphone is no longer providing any power. And now I'm gonna plug in the Azden SGM-250CX, basically the professional XLR microphone. And maybe I'll put it into the left here channel. And here I can hear it now. This is how the audio sounds. So let me maybe point it a little bit up towards me. So this is now recording to the XLR microphone. So again, you could be using any XLR microphone, you know, any kind of professional type of XLR microphone right on top of your camera here. And this is how it's going to sound. Now, as you can see up here, you can also adjust, you can turn on and off the 48 volt phantom power. You can also have different settings here for line, microphone, that kind of stuff here for both the left and the right channels, because you could have two different XLR microphones plugged in, and in that case, like I said, you could have one microphone going to the left channel and the other one to the right channel, so you can have backup. And you could even do that right now with this, like if you don't have to have necessarily two XLR microphones plugged in. So for example, if I switch now in the back to stereo, now the audio is only recording on the right channel, because that's where this is plugged into the right channel. And now with the knob in the back, I can just basically adjust the levels here with the to the right channel, and the left knob doesn't do anything. But for example, let's say I also wanted to, let's say I use this one as my left channel, so I can plug that microphone in there. And there we have it. This is now basically providing audio from the left channel is on this one, the SMX30 from Azden microphone, and I can independently adjust the levels now for the left channel, so I can put it down or I can put it up, for example, the volume. And then the same thing for the right channel now, which is this Azden microphone. I can put it down, and now I'm mainly hearing this microphone. This is how it sounds, and now I'm going to put up the audio here on the right channel from the other Azden microphone. So that's kind of I would say the main advantage of this audio mixer, is it allows you to plug in two different microphones at once, and you can also mix between XLR and 3.5mm basically input jacks, so you can use all kinds of microphones, and ones that require phantom power and some that don't, and you can use them together, you can mix them. And then this way, on these kind of basically cameras that are not really designed to be video cameras, but that these days we're all using these as video cameras, whether it's the Sony a6500 or using Canon DSLRs or DSLM type of cameras. You can basically be using now getting professional audio thanks to this mixer. Now, is it a perfect device? Like is the case usually with most things these days. There's always something you can find, but this is going to be really nitpicking. But I'll kind of tell you guys, I guess, things that I don't like about it. The main thing I don't like about it is I wish there was a third knob up here so I could control the overall volume in the headphones. Because when you, for example, if you have a microphone that's coming in really hot and you want to kind of turn it down, the volume of that, so it's not peaking inside your camera, then sometimes it basically also at the same time lowers the volume in your headphones. And so if you're like outside in a noisy environment and things like that, it might actually be hard to monitor through the headphones. So I just wish there was a separate knob for just adjusting the volume of the headphones itself, and then so that these two here, mixers in the back, these two knobs are just for the audio that's coming out of the line out or the auxiliary channel. So I wish they did that. And then the other thing, and for that I'm going to have to take all these mics out, that I'm not a big fan of, is the way that this will mount, if you're going to mount it basically on the bottom of your camera. So meaning using the 1/4-20 attachment here on the top. So here, I'm going to take all of this stuff out. So now if you want to put the camera on top of here, which like I said you can, thanks to the 1/4-20 screw and this big sort of a knob that they give you, if I were to attach it, it works, it attaches, but you got to keep in mind that there is something to watch out for, and that's basically I think it's just the rubber surface here. It does attach the camera, as you can see, and kind of seems to stay there, but just that rubber surface here on the top, it's not grippy enough, it's too smooth. And so if if I push the camera, as you can see up here, it still moves, it's kind of loose. So even when I tried tightening this screw here in the back, as much as I could, I would like tighten it. See, you can't go anymore. And yeah, it stays there. It seems like it's secure, but it does wobble a little bit. And as you can see, if I move it, it basically moves still. So this is not going to be a problem with every camera, but with the Sony a6500. And maybe also because of this Easy Rig cage that I have on my camera. It's kind of thin piece of metal there, and so that causes it basically to kind of, like I said, slip around. If you have a camera like with a bigger body, and basically a bigger base, then I think it's going to be a little bit more steady. And actually, let me try my Canon 7D up here, because it is a much bigger camera. And let's see how well it stays. So you can see the Canon 7D has much bigger surface area here on the bottom. So let's see how it grips that camera. Okay. And yeah, okay, it's a lot better. So yeah, definitely if you have a camera, like a bigger DSLR camera, then probably it would make more sense just to mount it here on top of this mixer. Because then it still moves a little bit, but it's not bad. Overall it stays there, and then yeah, and then you can attach your tripod base plate here on the bottom of the mixer if you like having this kind of configuration. Personally though, for me, I would just say, you know, use this Hachu adapter here that they give you and just mount it on top of your camera, because I think the reason why that's more comfortable is because this way you have the knobs here for adjusting the audio levels, like, you know, kind of more at your eye level, a little bit higher than having to look kind of below there and adjust the audio. So that's the only thing. Lastly, I would say the only other thing that it's not so much that I think there's something wrong with it, is just I wish they would add this extra feature, which would be if you can actually have some kind of a display here so you could see the audio levels on the mixer itself. The reason is because, like on the Sony a6500, there I can display my audio levels and I can actually see what the signal is inside the camera. But with for example, certain cameras like the Canon 7D and some other cameras, you will not actually have an audio level indicator, so you don't know exactly, are you sometimes maybe peaking or things like that. So having an audio, basically level kind of display here would just be, convenient. So definitely, if you guys want to be able to plug in any kind of professional microphones or audio inputs into your camera, then consider getting the Comica CVM-AX3 audio mixer. And like I kind of mentioned before, it's not just for microphones. You can actually plug in a line input. Let's say you're doing a wedding video and you have a DJ who's going to be doing all the audio and mixing stuff. You can actually get one channel from him and you can plug it into here, so you can actually get what's coming off of the mix board, while on the other channel you could be recording, let's say, a microphone that you have on top of your camera. So it's kind of cool, that allows you to do that and allows you to independently adjust the levels of those two different channels. So definitely then it basically turns these DSLR, DSLM type of cameras into more professional video tools. Anyways, once again, my name is Tom Antos. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you let me know by hitting the like button, leave a comment below, let me know what else you guys would want me to review or talk about in my future videos. And if you want to be notified of any other interesting videos, reviews, filmmaking tutorials, that kind of stuff, go to my website and sign up to my newsletter. This way you'll get an email, because these days, whether you subscribe or follow me or whatever on all these social media websites, as you probably notice, you're not going to get a notification. So that's probably the best way to stay on top of kind of what I'm doing up here. Anyways, that's it for this video. Bye, guys.